boys and girls. I'm very excited because this week we are going to read one of my favorite stories. It's called The Little Red Hen. The Little Red Hen is what's called a folk tale. A folk tale is an old story, so I'm sure your parents have heard this story, your grandparents, your great-grandparents have probably heard this story. It's been around a long time. Most folk tales were told before they were written down. So people used to just tell these stories back when people didn't have a lot of books, and then they were written down. And not all, but many of them were trying to teach a lesson. All right. So here is The Little Red Hen. The pictures are by Lucinda McQueen. There's no author because, again, it's an old folk tale, and nobody knows who was the first person to tell it. Once upon a time, there was a little red hen who shared her tiny cottage with a goose, a cat, and a dog. The goose was a gossip. She chatted with the neighbors all day long. The cat was very vain. She brushed her fur, straightened her whiskers, and polished her claws all day long. The dog was always sleepy. He napped on the front porch swing all day long. The little red hen ended up doing all the work around the house. She cooked, she cleaned, she washed her clothes, took out the trash, she mowed the lawn and raked the leaves. She even did all of the shopping. One morning on her way to market, the little red hen found a few grains of wheat. She put them in the pocket of her apron. When she got home, she asked her friends, "Who will plant these grains of wheat?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Oh, not I," said the dog. "Then I will plant them myself," said the little red hen. And she did. So grains of wheat they can also be called wheat seeds, as she's planting them in the ground to grow them. When the grains of wheat began to sprout, the little red hen cried, "Look, the wheat I planted is coming up. Who will help me take care of it this summer?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Oh, not I," said the dog. "Then I will take care of it myself," said the little red hen. And she did. All summer long, she cared for the growing wheat. She made sure that it got enough water, and she hoed the weeds out carefully between each row. By the end of summer, the wheat had grown tall, and when it turned from green to gold, she asked her friends, "Who will help me cut and thresh this wheat?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Oh, not I," said the dog. "Then I will cut and thresh it myself," said the little red hen. And she did. So first she cut it with this knife, and then she hit it with this to get all the seeds to come out. That's called threshing. When all of the wheat had been cut and threshed, the little red hen scooped the wheat into a wheelbarrow and said, "This wheat must be ground into flour. Who will help me take it to the mill?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Not I," said the dog. "Then I will take care of it myself," said the little red hen. And she did. The miller ground the wheat into flour and put it into a bag for the little red hen. So he took the wheat and ground it and ground it and ground it so it was white powder, which is flour which you use to make cookies or bread, things like that. You probably have some in your house. Then all by herself, she pushed the bag home in the wheelbarrow. One cool fall morning, not many days later, the little red hen got up early and said, "Today would be a perfect day to bake some bread. Who will help me bake a loaf of bread with the flour I bought from the mill?" "Not I," said the goose. "Not I," said the cat. "Oh, not I," said the dog. "Then I will bake it myself," said the little red hen. And she did. She mixed the flour with milk and eggs and butter and salt. She kneaded the dough and shaped it into a nice plump loaf. Then she put the loaf in the oven and watched it as it baked. The smell of baking bread soon filled the air. It smelled so delicious that the goose stopped chatting, and the cat stopped brushing, and the dog stopped napping. One by one, they came into the kitchen. When the little red hen took the freshly baked loaf of bread out of the oven, she said, "Who will help me eat this bread?" What do you think they're going to say? "Oh, I will," said the goose. "And I will," said the cat. "And I will," said the dog. "You will?" said the little red hen. "Who planted the wheat and took care of it?" "I did." "Who cut the wheat? Who threshed it and took it to the mill?" "I did." "Who brought the flour home and baked this loaf of bread?" "I did. I did it all by myself. Now I'm going to eat it all by myself." And that is exactly what she did. I want you to do a turn and talk with your grown-up and tell them at least 2 characters that were in this story. 2 of the characters that were in this story. Then I want you to turn and talk with your grown-up about whether it was fair that the little red hen ate all the bread by herself and didn't give any to the dog and the cat and the goose. Is that fair or not fair? All right, so who were the characters in this story? There was the hen, there was the cat, there was the dog, there was the goose, and one more. He just had a tiny little part. The miller, the guy that made the flour. What's the setting of this story? Remember, twinkle, twinkle, little star, the setting tells where the characters are. Where are they? I hope that you said that they are in the country. It looks like the country, not the city, right? And they have a cute little house that they live in. All right, boys and girls, tomorrow we're going to read another story that's like the Little Red Hen, and we are going to talk about how they're the same and how they're different.